Moving on from accommodation,
Sure.
as I'm sure you'll be glad.
No,
One
no,
of your
by all means.
one of
These are
your
the things that keep me up at
main
night.
policies is to extend hardship funds to also include international
Yes.
students. Why should Scottish students not get money and international students coming in get that same money?
Again, that's a nonsense level of phrasing. I'm not saying take the hardship fund away from Scottish students. I'm saying right now we are an enormously international university, and yet we only provide a hardship fund for our local students, for our national students. Why are we not serving the entire student populace? Students incredibly bright, capable, that have traveled from the four corners of the world, that do encounter similar difficulties as UK students.
But the widening access that goes on is about Scottish students, and we don't have enough of them anyway. We do terribly in league tables when it comes to widening access and accessibility. Any money we get, why give it to international students and not Scottish students or what rest of UK students?
And I've seen this many times this year. We've seen international students who are paying fees and suddenly their currency in their home company drops. We had a Russian student in my office just the other day that because the ruble has dropped so much this year, they're paying twice effectively in fees. You say a student, say their parents get ill, say they have 11 brothers and sisters. How are they supposed to grapple with these things when they're getting a St. Andrews education? How can they persist in their studies? How can they give back to this university in the same way? I'm not saying at any point, I absolutely believe that we need this hardship fund to expand for Scottish students. I absolutely believe we need to expand it for our UK students, but I absolutely believe we owe the same service to every student here in St. Andrews.
At this point in the interview, I'd normally talk about experience, but we know that you've got a lot of experience. You're the president. So let's talk about you. Your manifesto last year was 3 pages long. Ben Anderson's this year, 6 pages. This year, your manifesto is just 1 page. It's only got 9 policies. One of those is opposing the HMO cap, continuing to oppose that. You're quite confident of winning, aren't you?
I don't think that's fair at all. And I don't think anyone, you're trying to suggest that someone deserves a position outright. No one deserves anything. No one is guaranteed anything in this world, but at the end of it, there are policies and there's solutions to problems that the students of St. Andrews deserve. There is an incredibly humbling process you go through when you sit in my seat from a year and you realize that you have to tackle in very narrow areas. You need to pick specific things. We have enormously broad remits as sabbatical officers. If you don't hone in, if you don't focus, if you don't pick a few things to champion, you won't be successful. You can have 6 pages as much as you want. You can promise the moon, you can promise sky and everything in it. But unless you keep it simple and hammer every single day, nothing's going to happen.
So on the point of openness and the amount of that you submit, your AGM report was significantly smaller, I noticed, than the other sabbaticals. It was about 3/4 of a page.
I also spoke about 3 or 4 times as long as the other sabbatical officers. If I'm going to talk about something I actually want to talk about, if I have people in the room, I want to communicate it to them. And you can look at any other report. You can look at my first semester report.
Which was exactly or pretty much exactly the same as your AGM report.
Because I can write in bullet points and I choose to boil things down to the quickest, most expedient way. Look at all those words. Look at all the reports stacked on top of each other. I would wager there's 20,000 words when you stack all of the officers on top of each other. Students need to just be able to get the highlights, need to be able to get the snapshot. The Saint reports all the time on the stuff we do in here. Students are welcome to come in and ask at any point in time. There's no, just because you don't write something that's 2,000 words, this isn't an essay, this isn't anything else. What matters is the tangibles of what you have done.
You've also not really used Twitter this year. You've got rid of the sabbatical radio show. That's something Ben Anderson wants to bring back. It's the little things like this, the openness.
Okay, and here, I'll flip this for you. So the Saint traditionally always ran an article that was, do you recognize your sabbaticals? I didn't seem to notice that one this year. One of the things we did change is we put in our mass email, we started putting photos of all the sabbaticals. And what's actually seen transferably immediately.
So your face is more important than policies?
No. Again, stop putting words in my mouth. What we're saying is that by doing that, when we're walking, and every sabbatical in our crew will testify to this, whenever we're going through the town, we have people coming up to us all the time saying, I'm struggling with this, I'm dealing with this. Recognizably an interface. So there's you watch a Star radio show and there's 47 people listening. That is not enough. You need to look at more substantial ways. Twitter, so what? I'm an old man and I don't want to write in 140 characters what are incredibly complex issues. But nonetheless, we work very hard. We send an email to 8,000 students every single week. And I think I think this is a very flimsy place to be going after whether the sabbatical team has been...
I'm not talking about the sabbatical team, I'm talking about you.
I am part of the sabbatical team, and I'm talking about myself as well. Whether we've been visible enough, I think we've done a great job on this front.
I have a message here that you sent to our news editor where you say that you will not give your manifesto unless an article is updated to include comments that are positive to you to make you look better.
Oh no, what I said to her is...
Is it acceptable for a presidential candidate, is it acceptable behaviour for a presidential candidate to make their openness predicated on positive reports?
You've absolutely misrepresented this again. What happened was, the Saint wrote on their Facebook page, and you'll see also in that the photo I sent of the Saint saying, we interviewed Pat Mathewson. It said we interviewed the sabbaticals, and here are their report cards. I was never interviewed at that time.
I have it here. I have the message you sent here. It says, if the article is updated promptly, I'll furnish you with a manifesto tomorrow. Are you afraid of criticism?
No, not at all. I'm sitting here right now. I'm sitting here speaking to you right
Well,
this
I also have the message that you sent at 4:30 a.m. to the writer of that article, where you say it is a pretty gross disservice to my hard work this year, the article that is written, that you're sending to him at 4:30 in the morning. You're threatening people with lack of cooperation if they don't update articles to make you look better. You're attacking people at 4:30 in the morning. The truth is that you're bullying these people.
That's absolutely incorrect. All I asked for was to be interviewed for an article where you said you interviewed me. All I'm asking for is a fair assessment. And you also read in that statement, I fully accept it's the Saint's responsibility to offer criticism. And is that not in there? Do I not say that in there?
You do say that?
Yes, okay. And I say it's fully the responsibility of the Saint to give me criticism.
So is it the president's responsibility to not be open to everyone, even those that are critical of him, not to threaten them with no cooperation if you're not
Isn't asking to be
open?
interviewed for an article the best way to be open? Isn't asking
Well, we did ask you for an interview for that article and you didn't respond.
This is absolute nonsense. And this is what people come to accept from this kind of journalism. Listen to me. All I'm asking
You're threatening people. You're bullying people.
I'm not bullying anyone.
I have the messages here. You're bullying these people.
I've not bullied anyone. All I asked was to be interviewed if you say you're going to interview me.
Well, you're here now.
I'm here now, and please give me the criticism.
What is your biggest achievements of last year?
My biggest achievements or my proudest achievements?
Your biggest achievements. Are you not proud of your biggest achievements?
Well, I think the role of president is interesting in this sense, because the things that you can campaign on and the things that are big headlines and the things that you can score major points with are not the things that you are proudest of. What you are proudest of is when, say for example, a student comes into your office nearly in tears and they're at the end of their rope on their academic studies, or they've encountered some enormous difficulty, and you are their last port of call, and you manage to get them the help that they can. You manage them to continue to study, to stay here. Those are not the things that you campaign on. That's all the work that goes in behind the scenes for a president and for all the other sabbatical officers. It's the day in, day out stuff that makes you want to keep doing this job. It's that stuff that matters. My biggest achievements, sure, you look at this enormous sum for accommodation bursaries. You look at when students come with you problems like living outside of town is unfeasible, that I'm nervous walking home at night, and you say there hasn't been a solution to this in years, and you say we get you the night bus and make it a permanent fixture 7 days a week, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Students come and say, my society means the world to me. It's everything I do in St. Andrews out with my studies, and I'm very worried that the redevelopment means we're going to have no home. We're going to be totally displaced, and the thing that matters most to me is not going to be there. So we got a £70,000 increase in our block grants.
Well, Pat Mathewson, thank you very much for the interview.
Henry, thank you very much.